First and foremost, Nigerians do not trust themselves again. Starting from the ethnic rivalry to our state of statism, whereby even one state does not even trust another state, even within the same political party. And that is why they don't exchange notes. So we have got to a situation whereby one tribe is fears the others in terms of domination. When you look at the history of those people that have been managing Nigeria in terms of ruling us, most of them are from the Fulanis. Even from the real analysis, I've never seen a typical Hausa coming up as a president. It's always from the Fulani extraction. And when you look at the history of the North, you have the El Kanemi and you have the Caliphate. They are at loggerhead. And this thing has always been affecting the political stability of Nigeria. When you look at the Yorubas, when you look at the Igbos, and the so-called Ijaws and South-South, the so-called geographical contraption that differentiates one from the other is very much pronounced now, that the Yorubas may not necessarily trust not the Hausas alone, even the Igbos and even the Ijaws now, from the antecedent of history. I think even when you are talking of restructuring with the underbelly note of secession, that is what on ground. We must try as much as possible to allow caution to take over, because most of these leaders from all these regions, they are not even taking care of their people. So poverty in the north, poverty in the so-called Old West, poverty in the Old East. So the people themselves do not trust just these leaders. And that is why we will continue to have problems as coming up. Regarding the Boko Haram, let us look at that. Some people were able to see it as what will end up Jonathan's era. So they were pumping money, they were fueling it. Now that another person is there, those fueling it yesterday are not necessarily the people that are sponsoring it now. But the situation has created an avenue of using the situation as a vengeance or as a weapon to vest your vengeance. Regarding the Fulani herdsmen now, which is now calling for a national solution, which the government is saying that there should be a colony in this state or that state. So people are suspecting that the so-called Hausa hegemony, which we have been always fearing, is what is now coming in another dimension. That if you in the Yoruba land now, you give all these Fulanis a place. These are people that reproduce in hundreds. Before you know it, the fear is that they will soon dominate. And if they have been very peaceful, we will have looked into the areas of economy regarding the cows, breeding the cows, which the Yorubas are not used to. But the Yorubas are into it through sponsoring the Fulanis to do it. Well, most of these Fulanis that go about, they are specialized in rearing these animals. They may not necessarily be the owners of these animals. So now that you have Fulanis arming themselves with guns, sophisticated ones for that matter, and they call themselves cattle rearers, you have to suspect a lot of things. So the so-called colonies may not work in the Yoruba land, because already, if I use the example of what has been happening since some 10 years ago, Ibadan to Oyo, Oyo to Ogbomoso, all these Fulanis have always been armed to teeth, dispossessing people and raping women. And unfortunately, the police have not been able to do anything to that. Maybe they are waiting for the order from the above. But what of the people that are being molested, that are being maimed, that are being killed? When you get overseas, recently I was there. I was looking for all those things. They colonized them in form of ranches. But it may not nearly work. Let the Hausas that are used to these cows, let them continue to rear all these things their domain, so that the Southerners will go there to buy, even with a tire purchase. And if we are interested in that, you rear them around there, you create it for yourself. You buy it from them, you make them. For example, I have my own cows. My children are doing it, are rearing them for me, for the purpose of Ileya and all those things. Naturally, I like animals, but I don't have a place where I can be doing that. So I give time. So everybody can be doing that. We have been encouraging people to have gardens around themselves, so that you eat out of fresh food and all those things. So the idea of having in every state the Fulani's domination, do so you will say colonize. That is how the whites came. They first all settled somewhere, then they began to spread, then they colonized the whole country. So that is the fear of the people, that the intention behind that suggestion from the federal government is very pregnant with future disaster.
Do you see any outside link? The security agencies are saying that outside elements that are bent on seeing the disintegration of Nigeria. They are talking about ISIS, they are talking about this terrorist group. Do you see any link?
You should expect that too. When America then said that Nigeria will soon disintegrate in 2015, we worked towards it not to happen. Because once you pronounce that, some people must be working towards it. And you can't trust the so-called elite in the country. These are people that believe that if they want to be president today, they must go cap in hand overseas to seek their support when you want to rule your people. And we continue to ask them, how many times have these white people come here to seek for our support? So the so-called independence is not necessarily independence. It's another way of enslaving ourselves by ourselves. And that is what is ruining us. When Boko Haram was hijacked by the so-called Al-Qaeda, for you to become an international something, and you should expect it. The ISIS and all those things, they are there. Everybody wants where there are troubled areas to lend their support, so that they are more into all the destructive tendencies which they have. So we should not, a good government, even if there are nothing of such is going to happen, good government must be so sensitive as to work against it. Even though after all it may be much ado about nothing. But this time around, Nigeria elites are ready to sell their people. They are ready to sell even the whole country. Go and look critically into the so-called summit, which we are having in Yoruba land and all those things. Go and look at some unwholesome parley that has led to exchange of billions among all these regions to be able to work together. But the man which they are trying to copy never organize anybody in Yoruba land as armed local forces Awolowo only said, if you allow the Igbos to go, the Yoruba may follow. Meaning that the Northerners must not go out of hand so that they were able to prevent that crisis of the warfare, of the civil war. But they capitalized on it, and even till death, Chinua Achebe even wrote in his book, The Country That Never Was, and he credited it there, that why he hated that way, all those things. I was surprised, as learned as you are. And if you carry this to the level of becoming a bequeathable legacy to your children, it means we will continue to be in war in Nigeria. We have to forget all those things and begin a new life in Nigeria. Unfortunately, the ruling classes have so disarmed the empowered, the youth, who are the potential leaders, to take over from them, to the extent that they cannot even decide for themselves. Even they are divided, the so-called youth. You have a lot of splinter groups coming up here, coming up here, coming up here. And one thing that annoys you is that they are always after what to get from all these people they are trying to condemn, how to get some money from them, all those things. So when you have this kind of youth, activism is dead in Nigeria, because the major people that were really holding forth the reign of activism are now in the possibility of people hijacking any problem that may emanate or come up, no matter how small, is very, very high. So the government must try as much as possible. The security must be, even the so-called porous borders. We need to do all these things. There's a lot of things. It's because we are not sincere. When you get to all these particular countries, before you enter, the data is already all over the country. Even though you want to spend just 2 weeks. And we have nothing like that here. And if the government do anything, you have the duplicate from somewhere else. So Nigeria needs to be sanitized, and government needs to do something better. So don't take with levity matters of security. It's highly, highly important. Whether people are hijacking or they are not, anything can erupt, most especially in the face of poverty, in the face of being marginalized, in the face of being cheated. Where you have injustice, where you have no equity on ground, anything could erupt. So the area of security is highly important, and government must try as much as possible to do something worthwhile for the people. It is the people, when they are happy, they are the basis of support and security for government.